I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh. But I needed to just get on and do this. Well, hi. Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm holding my stones because my heart is pounding, and psychologically, I'm like, why am I nervous? I have nothing to be nervous about. I know what I have to say, and I just have to do it. And this is why I just pressed the button. Okay. So I wanted to go on this morning. I woke up thinking of a few people that had reached out to me after watching the Leah Remini special about Jehovah's Witnesses. And my heart was feeling the urge, I felt the urge I needed to speak, and I know I've been saying this to myself for a very long time. I've been wanting to speak up about a lot of different things. And a little bit about me. So I was born in third generation Jehovah's Witness, and I was a Jehovah's Witness until I was 21, where I then was disfellowshipped for dry humping my then boyfriend, fiance. I say fiance because the only reason why you date when you're Jehovah's Witness is to get married. So that's a story in itself that was pretty traumatizing. But basically what happens when you get disfellowshipped, and for myself being raised in it where my whole social structure were these people in this organization, because you couldn't associate with people outside of the organization because they're considered worldly. You just have to do what you have to do in your daily activities where you interact, but then other than that, you're in total seclusion to the people in this organization. So basically when I was disfellowshipped, everything was gone, taken away from me. They announced it, what felt like to the whole world, but it's basically to everyone in the congregation I was in. And then of course the word spreads very quickly. And you can know you're shunned at that point in time until you decide you want to come back to this organization and serve God, repent, yada, 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 and work your way back to this organization. When I was out, I decided at that point in time, this was not, there was something in me like, don't go back. And I didn't go back. I take that back. I did try to go back a few times. And then I decided, no, there's just something about this. This isn't the God that I want to serve. That's not showing love. Why am I being shunned and all this? So I went through a whole lot of emotions throughout the years. Depression. I tried to commit suicide at one point. Lots of different things go on during this time. And hey y'all, thanks for watching. And bear with me because I'm just trying to get this out and get in the rhythm of going live and not being fearful because fear is just an illusion, but I still feel these feelings. Anyways, so long story short, I didn't want to go in a lot of detail because that's a lot of content that I want to get out, but my reason for getting on in this group specifically was because I want to be there for you all. And when I say you all, the ones who are affected by false religions. And I'm going to just say it like I see it. The Jehovah's Witness organization is a cult. It's not a real religion. It's fake. But I understand because of how my mentality used to be and before I woke up, you're not going to see it this way. Because of the deep indoctrination, you're not going to, when someone says it's a culture, like, yeah, and you're probably going to click off of this video because anyone who speaks badly about this religion is considered an apostate. And you're not, like, they're just like devil. You might as well just brand my forehead because that's how a lot of people in this religion will look at me because I'm speaking ill in a way to this organization. Why I was so happy that Leah Remini finally was catching on that the Jehovah's Witness organization is very similar to the Scientology organization or cult, because they literally are. They are parallel. Their terminologies vary, how they do things vary, but they are very similar. And if you've watched the Scientology episodes and you're just like, wow, this is some fucked up shit. Well, yeah, it is. And so is a lot of the not the people. I'm going to be very specific. I do not have an issue with any of the people in the organization, because these are really true, loving, kind, honest, hardworking people. My issue, which isn't necessarily an issue anymore because I've gotten past a lot of things and I've found my true purpose, but what was when I woke up to realizing the falseness of this organization is the fact that the leaders, the ones who are in power, the ones calling the shots, the ones who are making the rules and changing the doctrines over and over and over again, and just preaching falsehoods overall. That's the issue I have, is the people who are in power taking charge and ruining a lot of people's lives. The Leah Remini special, if you are aware of Jehovah's Witnesses or not, you may know some people who are in it, some loved ones, spoke about, I liked how they handled the episode, because it pointed out the flaws without necessarily attacking. And that's one thing that I appreciated. They spoke about a lot of hard truths. What woke me up to this organization being false, realizing that my whole world, because this was all I knew, was a big lie. There was earlier this year, a friend had posted an article about this woman who was disfellowshipped, and she killed herself and her whole family so that she can make it before Armageddon comes and have hopes for being resurrected. Because the one of the teachings is that Armageddon, the doomsday type prophecy, the Armageddon's going to come, and only the true religion, which Jehovah's Witnesses believe they are the only true religion, will make it, and everyone else is going to be killed at Armageddon, and you're going to bring the world back to perfection and back to a paradise, and only 144,000 go to heaven to reign with God and Jesus, in a nutshell. So a lot of emotions are coming out, but this is good for me, and I'm not going to apologize, because let me just. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Bear with me. I wrote notes, but then I realized I wrote it very sloppy, and I'm just like, I can't read my notes. But I'll just stick to what I can read. And if there's parts that those who possibly resonate with this, if there's something that you want to ask me, although I only, anyways. When you start to go through the awakening process of realizing that things aren't adding up, and that those gut instincts that you may have had when they make announcements about changes, like why is there a new Bible? What is this new light? Why is there constantly new light? If these publications that you're reading, you're going to these meetings to read the publications, and not to read the publication, but to go over and study the publication so it's firmly in your mind, so that you can preach the good word to everyone and save them before Armageddon comes. There was a part of me that had to wonder, why are we reading the same stuff over and over and over again, and then they keep changing it and saying, oh, this was no longer valid, we have new light come in. It started to make me think about red flags, like, why does this keep changing? Why are they changing the Bible? This is inspired by God. There should be nothing tainted about this. Made me feel very confused for a long time. That was another big reason why I could not let myself go back to this organization, because there's just so many red flags in my head, even though I didn't understand, because up until this year, even though I wasn't associated with the organization, I had decided to move on from it and live my life and find my own happiness without my family, without my friends, without any of it, and just move on, because it was just, I was in such cognitive dissonance for so many years. Not, oh my gosh, that's a whole nother story that I would like to share. I may do that on YouTube. I shouldn't say may. I am going to do it on YouTube. You have to, I wish people would pay more attention to those feelings that you feel when things aren't right, when things aren't adding up. The special highlighted some dark truths. If you're questioning things, keep questioning. If you're doubting things, figure out why. That's your intuition, your instincts telling you something's not right. And if that even peaks in you, this is huge, because the indoctrination is so deep that I had to literally, once I started waking up and realizing, so that was why I brought up the story about how I woke up. Excuse me. I read that article and I was like, I can see how so much inner turmoil can lead someone to want to take their lives. Because when you are disfellowshipped or kicked out of this organization and shunned, you are lost. Because everything you know, everyone you love can no longer talk to you or associate with you. And you're by yourself. So there's a lot of confusion, and your whole social structure is gone. Everything you know is gone, and you're fending for yourself, and it can make you just lose your shit in more ways than one. I just was thinking about some people that I know who have taken their own lives because of this organization. I almost was one of them. But something told me don't do it, even though I was almost doing it. I was doing it. I had stopped, and I'm happy that this show aired, because people need to realize how damaging these types of organizations can be. And the thing is, when you start digging deeper, and which I did, I'm a very good investigator. I will keep digging and digging and digging until I get the answers that I need, and then I keep digging. That's probably a profession I should look into. Thank you for bearing with me. I know I am all over the place, but I appreciate you for listening. When you start putting the pieces together and realizing that this isn't true, start Googling things. And I do say Google, because all of the information you really can just find by Googling. But this is the thing that makes it challenging. When you are in this organization, and in this organization for a long time, where you are fully indoctrinated, they inform you to not trust any information other than their organization, which is jw.org. All of your information that you need to survive in this world will be on their website and in their publications. So you have no reason to get higher education. You have no reason to Google other things about Jehovah's Witnesses, because they're telling you it's all false. Those are all false. Those are people who are derived from, that are influenced by the devil. So anything that they associate with the devil, you got to stay away from. So you're not going to find your answers. But the thing is, you need to go beyond that. If you really step back, well, I shouldn't even say that because it's very challenging depending on what state of mind you're in. But I finally came to the point where I was like, because after 16 years, I didn't even really Google anything about Jehovah's Witnesses because I still had that mind frame and that type of inner workings going on in my head. So I didn't Google anything because I just left it behind me, even though I wasn't healed from everything. But after seeing that article and how it resonated with me, I was like, wait a minute. I reached out to the person who posted that, and he was like, yeah, you need to like Google this shit. And he said, Google the Australian Royal Commission. And I was like, what the fuck is that? I know it's in Australia, but what is that? So I Googled, he said, Google Jehovah's Witnesses and then click on news. Like when you go to Google and then you go over to news and it has like news, photos, blah, blah, blah. He said, click on news, see what comes up. And I was like, this is a lot of shit. Why is all this shit about Jehovah's Witnesses in the news? I didn't know about it because I don't watch the news. It's all negative stuff, so I don't watch it. And I started seeing stuff that I was like, what? All of these sexual abuse cases and people winning? Like, what the fuck's going on? So, of course, it leads you digging more and more and more. And then I find the stuff about the Australian Royal Commission and start watching the videos. And when you start watching the videos about the Australian Royal Commission and the sexual abuse cases, I was like, what? Sexual abuse in the organization? Nah, this shit's fake. And I was like, wait a minute. Once I started watching things and seeing people who are on the governing body being on this case, and I'm just like, so it literally was a spiral effect of me finding out more and more and more information that I suppose to a normal person, they wouldn't really see this as something huge because this shit goes on all the time. But to someone brought up and born and raised as a Jehovah's Witness, this was like, whoa. One thing led to another. So where I'm going with this is, if you start having these doubts and if you're starting to question things and actually see things for what they really are, the fact that they allow pedophiles that can be sitting right next to you in the Kingdom Hall, your kids going out in service holding hands, like some wild shit. When you start realizing that this shit's really happening and allowed, and when you start digging deeper, there's a whole community I found out in my awakening of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that I never knew about because I didn't search for it. One, I just moved on with my life. But I'm telling you, there's a whole community out there that are there to help you through the process of awakening to what the reality really is. There's hundreds of people, probably more than hundreds of people, who are really dedicating their YouTube videos to helping you wake up through this process and understanding that this organization is not what it is. It's not the truth. Yes, Brandy, once you search, that was the other part I wanted to bring up. When you start finding out all of this, it is so surreal. You will go through a myriad of emotions. And I wanted to get on because I wanted you to know, if you are going through this, that you are not alone. I'm making myself available for you when you're having moments, because I went through this alone initially, and then I found the support groups. I went through a whole deprogramming. There's coaches out there, there's psychologists out there that are former Jehovah's Witnesses. There's books. I brought these out. Crisis of Conscience. This is from Raymond Franz. If you were in the organization for a long time, this was a guy who was part of the governing body, who found out the real truth and left, who they then considered was an apostate. This book, so many details on the inner workings of what goes on at Bethel and Patterson, the Watchtower headquarters, the deceit, the lies, how they really put shit out. Shit gets real. Then I came across there's lots of material out there, taking back your life, recovering from cults and abusive relationships. This actually can help more than just people who are in JW. This was an amazing book that I read that I'll go into another time. Also, emotional blackmail. One of the huge tactics they use to keep you brainwashed in this organization. And when you leave, how they manipulate, the mind manipulation. There's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of different YouTubers out there. John Sears, I like because of how he presents his information. He's doing it from a loving disposition, not attacking. There's also XJW Critical Thinker. It's a husband and wife, a black couple that were previous Bethelites that talk about their journey and speaking out the real truth as well. There's a lot of YouTubers out there in the XJW community. You are not alone. There's so many. But one thing I wanted to point out that is the process of awakening just from this organization, realizing the truth is not the truth. You're going to go through, like I said, myriads of emotions, stages of deprogramming, because you're going to keep searching and realizing more and more and more, and it's going to all start clicking. There's going to be a synchronicity almost to it if you are really passionate about waking up to this. It will get very intense. You're going to start to doubt things. You're going to go through shock. You're going to go through anger, denial. You're going to keep searching and then have guilt because you dedicated all of your life to going out in service. You dedicated all your life to preaching falsehoods. It makes you angry. I went through all this and I still have moments. You're going to feel lonely. You're going to be depressed. You're going to say, fuck the world, like I did probably. I said, fuck this shit. And I even started to doubt if God was even real. And what literally happened when I said that to my husband while I was smoking in the basement, I said, Charles, I don't even know anymore. Like, is God even real? Because this shit is fucked up. And then I heard a knock, literally like bang, like God telling me, well, I don't know if I want to call it God, but this higher power I've come now to feel connected to. Because as I started doing even more searching, because I started to realize this goes beyond this illusion, goes far beyond the Jehovah's Witness organization. This goes way deeper, which is something I've always known, but have now come to fully accept, which I hope one day everyone can see the real false reality that we live in, and make the most out of it, because there's good and there's evil, and we just need to realize how good we really are and who we really are. But that's a whole nother story. But I'm going to wrap this up because I know this is long and some of you are going to be like skipping forward, but that's okay because this is going to reach who it needs to reach. And that's all I wanted to do. You're going to go through a lot. It's a whole awakening process that you will have to go through, because it's just like stages of grief. You have to go through a cycle and then come out of it. And then you'll realize, okay, well, this is what's real. I have to accept it. And now, what am I going to do with my life now that I realize this falsehood? Well, that's when that's also where the support is there for you in all of these different groups. And I'll put some links in this after I finish. Because then now it's like, okay, what I realized was that, okay, this is what's going on. I have to accept it, because I had came to the point of accepting that my family was not going to be in my life anymore. I came to terms with that years ago. So I was like, what else have I got to lose? And then I started realizing, okay, let me keep working on myself and realizing my strength and realizing, oh, if I can do some things now, because there's nothing, when you start deprogramming yourself, you realize there's nothing holding you back anymore. I cut all the strings to the JW life I once had. All those terms, gone. The labels, because they label everything. Everything has a label. You got to get that out of your head. Labels, gone. It takes work. It's not just something that's going to just happen overnight. But when it does happen, you start to feel refreshed. So even though it's like you're here and then you go down, and then you come back up when you realize, oh, wait a minute, I can really live my life now. I can really do whatever I want to do now. I'm free. And then you start to feel this elated happiness sensation that comes like, wow, I can really do anything that I want to do and no one's going to stop me. And that's where I started to go into, and now I'm at this point where I know what I want to do. I have a very clear vision of what my purpose is now, which I didn't know for so long. I was like, what the fuck is my purpose on this planet for? Because this can't be it, just going door to door and now being shunned and all. I was like, my life has to be more than this. It really is what you make it. I love you all. And I want you to know that I'm here for you. I'm making space for you. And I don't have all the answers, but I have people there's people out there that are here for you to help you through this process. You are not alone. You are enough. And I want you to find your true purpose. It's very important for you to find your true purpose. And if it takes a while, it takes a while. It's okay. Just keep working towards it. But there's more to life than this organization. There's more to life. There's more to you. I want to know your gifts. Because I'm finding out shit about myself that I didn't even know. I'm just like, I'm fucking amazing. And so are you. We got to find these gifts that we have and live the life and have more fulfillment, because we gave a lot to something that wasn't real. So now we got to live in another state of mind. And I'm hearing my kids and my husband yelling. Is my cue. Find your strengths. And I'm here for you. I'll post some links under this, and I appreciate you listening. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. PM me if you want. Thank you for accepting my all over the place. Sometimes that's how things go. I'm going to keep working and I'm going to keep going live and in smaller segments, and maybe prepare my speeches a little better. Thank you. Do something wonderful for yourself. Take better care of yourself. Self-care is more than get pedicures and hairs and stuff. Take care of the inside. That's how you're going to heal. And that's how you're going to find out who you are. And that's how you're going to unlock your true potential. I love you.